Boss with Dr. Angela. I am your host, Dr. Angela Butchester. You know what I like to do on the show. I want to enlighten you. I want to inspire you. I want to empower you to become your best self. Now, Scripture reminds us that the tongue is a small thing that makes grand speeches, but a tiny spark can set a great forest on fire. So, Janet, thank you so much for spending time with me here on Daily Squash with Dr. Angela. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It is always a pleasure to get down and just kind of have a conversation with you. I enjoy it so much.
I do, too. I love how we're able to spend time with each other and inform each other, but then spend time with each other, just like kind of on a girl chat kind of basis. I love it. I think it is just the coolest thing in all the world. So I want to pick your brain today about not only your business and your organization as far as what you do professionally, but I want to kind of blend that into the holidays and everything that's going on today. So my first question to you is, how did you get started being a professional organizer?
It happened back in about 1992 when I was laid off. I saw an article of a woman who was actually going into businesses and helping people get organized. So I thought about it, and I said, well, that's what everybody is always saying about me. I did research, found out there was a local chapter of organizers. It was a national chapter of organizers. So I started doing my business part-time, but then after about a year, I began to do it full-time and take on, more clients, et cetera. But it was really just a result of a layoff and really discovering that talent that everybody else saw in me and just being able to, create a business and really a passion around it.
You remind me of that statement of it was all a result of a layoff, is when The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, was saying how his dream, his ambition, his desire was to make the NFL. And he said not making the NFL was one of the best things that ever happened to him because it caused him to become the person that he is now. So he's still doing what he wanted to do, but just in a different way that he never knew that it could blossom and bloom to all that it is today. And you are so amazing at the tips that you give. Guys, she's going to give her social media information, but you definitely need to follow her on social media. I know that I do, because some of the tips that you give are just so, I don't want to say simple in a negative way, but it's so simple that you go, oh my goodness, is that what I should have been doing? And then you kind of had that duh moment. So it is, people have been purposed to do certain things on earth, I believe. So yes, you are definitely walking in your purpose. Now, with trying to be organized and put things out the best way that they possibly can, unfortunately, not everyone is savvy that way. They're not good decorators, or they're not good at the placement of items. What are some common mistakes that people make in a particular room that if they did it a different way, they would actually create more space for themselves or have a better aesthetic?
Well, first starting in the bedroom, because I feel the bedroom is important because that's the place where we can relax, we can rejuvenate ourselves, we can just kind of get away and escape from everything. And the one mistake I see people making in that area is because clothes tend to just kind of fall all over the place, they never really make a decision about those clothes in the closet that they're not wearing. Get rid of those so they'll have room for the other things that are either on the exercise machine, the chair, or on the back of the door. And so, that is one thing. And then also sometimes just getting rid of things on top of the dresser that you're no longer using. Maybe you bought a perfume at one point in time because you enjoyed it, but now, changes have happened, so maybe you don't enjoy that scent anymore. So getting rid of it. The same with jewelry. and all of those things. And also because a lot of people, whether, a lot of people are using their tablets, but some people are still reading books, creating a space for those books. It could be a small bookshelf. It could be a big bookshelf, depending on that size of your room, but creating that space for those books so they're just not piled all over the place. So that's the bedroom. Then in the kitchen, sometimes because that's the place where we really can take care of our bodies. But what happens is a lot of time you don't create a system for things you need, and you don't create a functional system for you. Keeping the dishes and the silverware in a place that's functional for you. Or, also organizing your pantry or those baking goods, all those pots and pans is functional for you. But also knowing that, when organizing things like food, baked goods, snacks, etc., creating a system so that you can get to what you need when you need it, but also knowing that, one of the things my mother would do is whenever she would buy something, she would always take the older item and put it up the front, the newer one in the back. So it was like her own little inventory system. So sometimes doing simple things like that. And then another thing she would do is when the night before we would put out our trash, she would go in the refrigerator, just kind of look around and see, okay, what needs to go. So sometimes it's just creating those little things, because what happens is, the kitchen is like any other place. We just continue to pile stuff in there, not taking the time and getting rid of things. Yeah. Maybe you bought some dog food, and little, puppy decided he didn't like it. So, but you finally found something that the puppy did like, but you still have the old stuff. So it was taking that and donating it to a shelter or to a neighbor whose dog may like those things. So that's what happens in the kitchen. And then the last place I wanted to talk about is the office, or our home office, where we manage our home and our lives. And in that space, it's a matter of letting go of what is no longer relevant, no longer valid, digitizing things, but also just creating disciplining yourself that when you are finished working in that space, that you gather up whatever it is you were working on, you either put it in an inbox, you put it in a filing system, you put it in a box, so you have a clear surface when you come in, and you can be a little bit more focused and not distracted by the piles.
Oh, yes, 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 to everything that you said, yes. You are so right. I have been going through that process of shredding those pieces of paper that I no longer need, getting rid of all of those unnecessaries. And you're right. Now that we are working from home, we see our space a little bit differently. I think before we were, I'm just too tired to do that. And now, you don't have to be stuck in that traffic anymore. Or, you're not on that commuter train like you used to be. So you have a little bit more time. So you are so right. I love that. We can spring clean right now, since we have to be inside, or should be inside anyway. I love it. I love it. Now,
and also, I just wanted to mention one thing, because you were talking about, us not traveling. And what I tell people is to take that commute time, whatever it is, and transfer it into some productive time, whether you want to exercise so you can be healthier, or maybe, like you said, you want to take some time to either scan or shred or either put things back. But take that time and repurpose it to, get yourself organized, better manage your home and your life.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, I think the light bulb is going off for someone. We can have a terabyte of storage nowadays. That is more pieces of paper than we hopefully, than we actually own, so we can scan in all of those things and now get rid of that paper. I know that that's a complaint that my mother has. It's like, I get so much mail. I have so many pieces of paper, and just over the years how things have accumulated. So you are so right, so right. Now, the holiday season is almost here. I love the holidays, so I think that it is still wonderful, even though we're doing an abridged version of it. But what are some things that people can do to start planning for the holiday season just in general?
Well, in general, you should start thinking about how you're going to celebrate. Now, some people, are, even though, they're going to celebrate in person, or are you going to do it via Zoom? Some people are, and I've heard them, they're going to travel. So how are you going to celebrate the holiday? Is it going to be travel? Is your shopping, your meals, and your decorations? And the reason I say that is because if you are traveling, do it safely. But are you going to get on a plane, or are you going to drive? And how can you do it safely? Do you need, because of your comfort level and you're going to be traveling on a plane, do you need extra masks, gloves, face shields? You need to start stocking up on that stuff now. Should you be booking your flight now or planning your route? Because if you're going to be driving, make it enjoyable, make it scenic. I love scenic routes. I love, Dr. Angela Bickery. I get excited when I see a cow. I'm a city girl, so if I see a cow, I get excited. And then also, if you're going to travel, are there going to be overnight accommodations, and what is that going to look like? Because it's different now. Are you going to stay in a hotel? Do you feel comfortable? One woman said she wanted to visit her mother in Texas. Her mother said, fine, you can come, but everybody's going to be sleeping outside because nobody's going to be allowed in the house. So you need to work out all of those logistics beforehand. In regards to meals, I am a person who believes in meal planning, but I'm also at a place now where I don't like the crowd in the supermarkets like I used to. So therefore, you need to think about that. Like, do you need to start getting certain items? You can't get everything, but certain things you could probably pick up, maybe some spices or things like that you can get early. Also, if you are creating a dish, and you are going to take it to somebody's home, maybe this year you give them the dish. Don't worry about getting it back. Just give them the dish so they don't have to worry about giving it back, or put it in something they can dispose.
Yeah.
And then also, when you start planning your decorations, start planning things out now and start looking at things. Are there things you're not going to use ever again? There's things you maybe need to toss, like those lights that you keep saying you're going to untangle, but you're not. So those are some things. Just look at, where is it going to take place, your meals, your shopping. Do you want to do online shopping and not, go in the store? And how are you going to decorate your home? Start planning, getting excited now.
Oh, such great tips. And you're right. I don't enjoy a crowded store anymore. And it doesn't matter that my mask is color coordinating with my outfit. I don't want to be out there any longer than I have to be, because I don't know how everyone else feels about that. This might be the first time that they've put a mask on, simply because the store says you cannot enter without a mask. They may be living a carefree lifestyle where I'm trying to be very protective of the other people that I come in contact with, like when I go home. So you're right. We do need to think about those things. I think I'm almost on a first-name basis with my delivery guys. Thank you, UPS and FedEx, for delivering all of my stuff, because things are different. And supplies are taking a little bit longer to come than before, because people are still on the COVID protocol. So every business isn't as staffed as they were before. I love that. You're right. You're right. Now, COVID. COVID-19, I tell you what, will go down in history for sure. It has affected not only us here in the States, but even our friends and family around the world. Any suggestions of things that we could do if we still want to plan? And you were kind of started that route where you were telling us, make sure that we have the masks and we have all of those things. But if we decided, yep, Christmas is still going down at my house, it's my turn to host, should we think about the number of people that we invite? Should we have maybe stations that are further placed away? How can we still have a beautiful Christmas, have it organized, but have it safe as well?
Well, you should definitely think about the number of people you're going to have in your home. I mean, we've all seen the photos and even the movies where they have a little children's table. Start setting up little small stations. Maybe you have one family at one station and another family at another station, because they all live in the same house. But you're still you're still all gathered together. One friend actually, she was out and she saw little outdoor heating kind of lamps. And she said, I told my father to get them all. So because they have a yard, and she says, now we can have Thanksgiving outside. So they're going to put those little lamps. Everybody will be nice and heated, but social distancing. Also, there's Zoom. I mean, I have scheduled, Dr. Angela, 2 Christmas celebrations via Zoom. And I plan on decorating my backdrop with, some holiday cheer. I'm going to have on, I'm not sure what type of hat yet. And then there's a menu. Now, you don't have to go down it line for line, but, we want people to have a chicken. We want people to have some type of chocolate dessert and maybe a nice little vegetable, so that we're kind of eating the same thing, but everybody can decide to, cook it the way they want. So those are just some options, because you can still have fun. A friend recently had a family reunion. She said, Janet, it was only my idea to have it for an hour. It lasted for 2 hours. She had games. So there's ways we can make this fun, whether, we have to do it via Zoom, or we just decide, okay, we're all going to get together, but we need to social distance ourselves.
I love the idea of having it outside. You're right. I do have the yard space to be able to put one of those very long tables, even if you rented 2 long tables and it became, a medieval style table where it's just super long, so you can space everyone out and all of that, and just have that comfort with those heater lamps. That was an aha for me. I love that. And maybe Christmas this year might have to be on Zoom for especially those people who live in the snow areas where they wouldn't be able to perhaps go out as much as they like, but Thanksgiving might be the one. I love that idea. I'm nodding my head and taking mental notes of how we can switch that up. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Now, for me, I also think about putting stuff away. Just because last year we were able to simply wash the dishes, put everything away, fold it up, and put it in its cute little bin marked Thanksgiving and put it in the attic. We didn't think anything of it. But this year, I'm thinking a little bit differently. Do we need to sanitize more? Do we need to make sure that we're spraying things down with disinfectants? Should we store things any differently, or should we perhaps go and buy those throwaway items? I know you're not in the medical field or anything, but do you have any suggestions for the person that may be a little more concerned or worried this year about, do I use this stuff again next year?
Well, I think definitely if you are going to invite people who are normally not in your home over, I think, getting, disposable utensils and plates might be a great idea. And they have so many paper plates are not like they used to be, because you can get a variety of beautiful, not only plates, utensils, but even serving utensils as well. So if you just wanted to go all out and get everything like that, and that way dispose everything, including, you can get tablecloths, whatever you want to do to make yourself feel safe, I think you should definitely, as well as the people who are coming to you. I definitely think you should do that as well. In regards to storing items, I definitely think that when you do decide to store your holiday items, if they are outside, I would definitely wash them and spray them down before they come, before you really store them away, just as a precaution. So do things like that. But that's the only thing I would really do differently. I mean, I do believe that as you do put away your holiday and seasonal things, if you are putting them away and you've used them, but then you find yourself looking at things you haven't used, you need to begin to really think about what it is you will be using moving forward in the future.
You know, it is so funny because every year when you pull stuff out and you go, oh yeah, there's always that one thing that surprises me or that I forgot about it, be it that I haven't used it in a while or perhaps I purchased it new last year and it's like, oh, I did get that. You know, it is so funny in how that works. So you're right. So take an inventory and assessment of the things that you have and determine what you're going to use. Great way to organize and to stay abreast of that. Love that. Now, how can we make sure that we're not just doing this for the holidays? Now, I know that people say, well, the new year is coming up, and for my New Year resolution, I want to, I'm going to be determined that I'm going to be a little bit more organized. But we also know, let's be honest, that most people do not keep their New Year resolution. Mm-hmm. With that being said, how can we, so it's like, let's just stop lying to ourselves at the beginning of the year, right? Because we know that we're not going to do certain things. And let's start being open and honest first with ourselves and say, what are we really going to do? So my question to you is, how do we help create a new habit for ourselves if we're not very organized, to make that a part of our day-to-day life?
Well, I have like a few tips. So the first one is to take 15 minutes the night before and plan your next day, because when you do that, you will save yourself an hour. So that plan could be, what am I going to eat? Even if you are working from home, what are you going to wear? What are your to-dos? You know, I know you are working, you may be working remotely, so what do you need to do in regards to that? But also, are there things you need to do? Do you need to do the laundry? Do you need to create your meal plan for the week? So that's one thing. Second thing is to schedule time each week to plan for the coming week. So whether it's Friday night, Saturday, or sometime on Sunday, sit down and plan out your entire week. You know, plan out those meals. Plan out, when you're going to grocery shop, when you're going to do laundry. Plan out those trips to wherever, because when you take an hour in planning, you save yourself 4 in execution. Also, something simple that we can all do, if you take something out, you put it back. So if you take something out of the drawer, you put it back. If you take something out of the closet, you put it back. Off the shelf, you put it back. And then also, clear your workspace at the end of every day. One of the things I do, Dr. Angela, is when I am done working, I turn off my laptop, I close it up, and I put it in a traveler bag. I do that because right now my office is my living room. My living room is my office. So when I come in the next day, I'm more focused because I've already got my list. I'm more focused on what I have to do instead of trying to clear up everything before I start working. And just so it will get in your listeners' minds is that when you spend 1 hour each week on just getting organized, staying organized, that's 52 hours you would have spent within a year time frame. So just 1 hour. It could be tossing junk mail. It could be shredding a couple pieces of paper. It could be scanning a piece of paper. Or it could be putting something back when you take something out. So I think just those little things right there will help people really be better organized in their daily lives.
I love that. Oh my goodness! I'm telling you, I know you're gonna change someone's life for 2021, because we needed to make just these small adjustments along the way. And anyone who has ever seen someone professionally, be it that it's a life coach, a therapist, a counselor, anything like that, we always tell you it is the baby steps. It is just taking that initial step in the right direction, and then you pick up momentum, and before you know it, new life habit. So I love it. Thank you so much, Janet, for coming in and spending time with me today. Now, before I let you go, I want to make sure that everyone knows how to get in contact with you, how to follow you on social media, all that good stuff. Can you remind us? And you have your own you have your own podcast program. Tell everyone about all that good stuff.
So the best way to reach out to me is go to my website, which is janetmtaylor.com. That's Janet, M stands for Marie, Taylor.com. And, of course, you can find, you can read my blogs. You can connect with me via social media. And, of course, on social media, Instagram, I'm Organizer Janet. And then as Dr. Angela shared, that I do have a podcast called Got Clutter, Get Organized, which is weekly. And I have wonderful guests like Dr. Angela just come on and share their insight on how we can all live an organized life.
I love it. And I'm telling you guys, you definitely need to follow because she's going to share something with you or a nice little reminder. I believe it's Toss It Tuesday. I look forward to that on Instagram because it's a reminder, the same way that I think about Motivational Mondays. Then it's Toss It Tuesday, right? So it's like, oh, yeah, what can I get rid of today? And even if that's the way that you start to change your life to become more organized, you use that as an inspiration. What is she telling us to get rid of today? Or what is her suggestion of something to do? And it becomes a part of your lifestyle. Taking those baby steps. I love it. Thank you again, Janet, for spending time with me here today.
Thank you so much for having me. It has been a pleasure to be with you.
I love it every time you come on. And thanks, everyone, for tuning in and listening today. Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.